Look, kids, it's a slow, stupid dinosaur. Oh, wait, that's just YP.com. Shoot. Hey guys, this is Justin West, the founder and CEO of Hundreds of Customers, and I'm going to get up on my soapbox for a few minutes. I'm not the first person to do this, I'm probably not going to be the last, but I am fed up with Yellow Pages. And I'll show you why. A couple of different reasons, right? The first reason is this. You can't see it, but I'll probably put a picture up on the screen. I have in my hands right now a brand new copy of the hardbound, or paper-bound, Yellow Pages directory for my town. I live in a tiny town, about 12,000 people. But it's the same anywhere you go. What I find very interesting is you can tell a lot about a company or about a demographic by the way it's advertised to. So, for instance, I was watching the Royals, unfortunately getting stomped on by the Blue Jays today in Game 5. Although they did some good stomping yesterday, 14-2, I think is what it was. So go Royals, right? During the baseball game, there were, and it was ridiculous because I'm watching it with my 4 children who are 10 and under, so many commercials for Viagra and, was it Cialis, right? Which are, of course, erectile dysfunction pills. So you can tell the people that they think are watching the biggest spending demographic that's watching the baseball game are people who are probably likely candidates for needing that medicine. Likewise, I used to watch The Price is Right back when Bob Barker was on it. I think that they probably keep the same advertising schedule for the most part now that it's got Drew Carey, and all of the ads were for things like Medicaid. They were for Wilford Brimley and his diabetes commercials, right? Power chairs and supplemental health insurance, supplemental life insurance, all these things that were aimed at a graying demographic, a demographic that was approaching or past retirement. Well, I'm looking at the Yellow Pages, and it has ads on the front of it. And all 3 ads, there's 3 of them on the cover, and there's one giant one from an attorney on the back. All 3 on the front cover. There's jacuzzi walk-in tubs. These are for people, generally speaking, the elderly who can't get into a bath anymore without falling and have a hard time in the shower. So it's a neat idea. It's a little stand-up bathtub you can kind of get into and fill it up in a non-traditional way. But it's clearly aimed at the elderly. The ad below it on the cover is the Easy Climber stair lift. So again, it's installing a stair lift in your house if you can't go up and down the stairs. Now, certainly there are people who have mobility issues who aren't elderly, but again, I'm pretty sure, especially considering the lady who's in the picture, that their target demographic is the elderly. And then there's an attorney. There's always an attorney, right? God bless the guys at Monty Law Firm. And they represent all sorts of people, right? They represent injured people, not insurance companies, as their little logo. And of course, they do things like Social Security, disability, medical malpractice, workers' comp, etc. And on the back, old Monty Law Firm has the entire back cover. And they talk again Social Security, disability, medical malpractice, wrongful deaths, and whatnot. But the biggest thing on here is the Social Security, disability, and things like that. And of course, there's a picture of an elderly woman in a wheelchair. And this kind of gives you a picture of who Yellow Pages is best suited for. If you're in a niche that caters to the elderly, if you're in a niche that caters to people 55, 65, 75, and beyond, people who grew up in a time when the Yellow Pages was necessary and the only good source for finding a local business, then you know what? Keep on advertising in the Yellow Pages. You might find some good people, right? But for the average person today, the Yellow Pages simply is dead. And not just the Yellow Pages. You know what's even more dead than Yellow Pages is Yellow Pages online site, yellowpages.com or yp.com, which is what we're looking at right here on the page. And what really gets me is the way they trick businesses that don't know better into spending thousands of dollars with them every single month. Basically, thinking they're getting something of value when they're not. I actually spent today just calling business owners who are advertising on Yellow Pages, and I didn't talk to anybody who had a good experience. A couple of days ago, one of my sales guys said he talked to, I think it was a roofer perhaps, or a plumber, and he was livid. He wanted to sue the Yellow Pages because they wouldn't let him out of his contract, and he wasn't making anything, and they were taking him for, I think it's $5,000 a month. He gave a price range, $5,000 to $7,000 a month. That is a lot of money to spend on an advertisement campaign, especially one that once it's set is set in stone and can't change. So if his business changes, if his phone number changes, there's nothing he can do about it, and he can't get 6 months in and think, you know what, this $5,000 a month isn't working for me, I'd like to cancel, because they've got you in a contract. I hate the fact that they lock people into contracts, especially when they don't even know what is the contract about. They don't know if is this a good advertising source, right? But they know the name Yellow Pages and think, well, I mean, I'm a business and businesses need to be in Yellow Pages, right? So they go along with it. So why people do is they will sell you ads. Now, I'm in Kansas City, roughly, and they know that, so it's going to put that here. And let's just look up, let's see what was the roofers. I actually was looking those up earlier today. Right? It doesn't matter what it is. I'm just going to look up roofers here on the old Yellow Pages, which is pink for our October. That's nice, of course. And here's what we see. Now, I'm going to walk you through this really quickly. Here's a Google map, randomly. They have nothing to do with Google. In fact, Google's their enemy in a roundabout way. In a roundabout way not to. And I'll show you what that means here in a minute. And then there's all these listings. Now, if you can see right here, there's a little tiny yellow button that says Add. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 ads. Everything above the fold. You have to scroll down to get to the non-ads, right? So everything above the fold here is an ad. And then over here on the side, there are more ads, including some for Sears. This is actually an ad to an off-site thing. But then all these little yellow things again are ads for other roofers. These are all roofers. All of these are roofers who are paying at least, I think just to be listed here, it's about $500 a month. Depending upon your location, $300 to $500 a month, and of course locked into a 12-month contract. So you're looking at about $6,000 just to have your little logo here. And if you put them together, I think they give you a discount, right? And you can pay just like $700 a month for the two of them. So you're still looking at paying $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 a year for this. Now, if you're a roofer and your average ticket is $20,000, $30,000, and you can get 1 or 2 roofing contracts off this, it might pay for itself. But what I've heard talking to roofers and other contractors is they just don't get any. And here's why. When you need something, you don't go to YP.com, you go to Google.com or occasionally Bing or Yahoo. Almost all of us search, and we search online. We ask our phone, we ask Siri, we speak to our Android, we say, okay, Google, and Google listens up, and it finds what we're looking for, and it finds it online in the dynamic responsive web. So if you want a roofer in Kansas City, you might look up, say, roofer Kansas City. And sure enough, Google, of course, has ads as well. They are a business, and they'll let you pay to be at the very top of page 1. But they have these nice little maps listings here, which are actually probably the death knell of the Yellow Pages. They just changed it to this, we call it the snack pack now. It's just 3. It used to be between 5 and 7. And Google's always changing things and playing with them just to see what works better. And then down here you get your regular results. So when Yellow Pages calls a business and they say that advertising on Yellow Pages can help them in their organic listings, they mean one of two things, and both of them are rather misleading. On the one hand, this is what they call their organic listings, everything below the ads actually. So right here, starting here, Sun Life Roofing, Royalty Roofing, Bordner Roofing, Ramirez Roofing, etc. These are Yellow Pages' own particular organic listings, and supposedly advertising makes you more likely to show up higher here. I don't know why that is or how they do that factoring. I don't know what kind of an algorithm they have, or if it's just, oh, they've paid us, let's bump them up so they're more likely to get a call and not stop paying us. That's kind of what I suspect is the case, right? So that's one of the ways that you will be benefited organically according to Yellow Pages. And the other way is this, and this is interesting, but it's really not that good. So in Google, we have the ads, we have the maps. The maps are kind of an extension of organic, but then down here we have the standard organic listings, right? And what you'll see a lot of times, for instance, this is, what is this, Roofer Kansas City, right? It's a pretty common keyword. It's kind of a broad match. The number one thing is actually the Better Business Bureau, and then we have a company, Pyramid Roofing, and then we have Premier Roofing, is another company, and then we have Thumbtack, which is one of those big things like Home Advisor or Service Magic. It's kind of a conglomerate, and if you go here, it's kind of gonna be similar to Yellow Pages. People pay to be on this, and they pay because Thumbtack often ranks highly in the organic search listings. And so if you're looking for a roofer and you click here, oh, 10 best roofers, then someone's going to come here and say, oh, you're looking for a roofer, and of course they're going to force all these pop-ups here. So, and then if you're paying Thumbtack really well and you're listed really well on Thumbtack and you're at the top of Thumbtack, you might show up here. It's not your page, it's not advertising you per se, but people can still contact you using their service, and of course these people are paying to be here in the first place. Well, it's the same thing with Yellow Pages. Of course, Yellow Pages is way down here. It usually starts at the bottom, and of course if you're on Yellow Pages at all, you're probably in this little section here, which usually rotates. Although I think it's possible to simply pay a set amount and lock in the top spot if you want. So, you know, Tri-State Professional Services may be getting the lion's share of the calls, because whenever anybody clicks on the Yellow Pages listing in the organic section, they're going to be taken to this page. And every time I've refreshed this page, and I've looked on my phone and I've looked in other browsers, it's come up pretty much the same. So I don't know how often they vary these. I've only been looking for a couple days. It may be on a daily or a weekly or a monthly rotation. I'm not entirely for certain what determines that. Again, that's proprietary knowledge of Yellow Pages. But here's the thing. If you've got, you know, $1,000 to $2,000 a month that you can spend on this stuff and on that stupid yellow book that they send out that nobody reads anymore, use that money for something else. Buy yourself a nice car. You'll get a lot more use out of that than you would sending that money to Yellow Pages. I mean, maybe you like wasting money. Maybe you like tossing money from buildings and watching it flutter down and then just leaving it on the street. You know, some people do that. If you're independently wealthy, that just may be your thing. But for most small businesses, you need to be lean, right? You need to cut the fat where you can cut it, and Yellow Pages is fat. They have a kind of a sister company of a sort called Dex Media, and I actually was talking about this the other day. So this is Dex Media's stock price. It's 22 cents. If we go back about 2 years, this is May of 2013, their all-time high in the last 2 years was $22 a share. They have dropped to 22 cents a share as of today, October the 21st, 2015, which is, of course, Back to the Future Day for those of you who grew up in the 80s on those movies. But anyway, so what does this tell us about companies like Yellow Pages, companies like Dex? It tells us this: they're dying. They are an aging breed, and they're on their way out. They're not long for this world, and they know it. And they are scrambling, absolutely scrambling, to get as many businesses locked into contracts as they can so they can maintain as much stability and financial lastingness as possible until maybe they can invent some amazing new paradigm shift. I'm not going to hold my breath. One way that they are attempting to maintain relevancy is through video. Now, video, of course, is very, very popular these days, and Yellow Pages knows that, and so now they're going to these people that they already have locked into contracts and saying, hey, you need a video on your website, your ugly website that we're probably supplying you. In fact, I can show you what some of those websites look like here in a minute as well. But they sell these videos for anywhere between $700 or $800 and $2,000 or $3,000 depending upon the options. And some of the options, you know, they at least at one point would come out and film on location. I don't think they even do that anymore. So I'm going to play this. I don't know if you can hear the music or not. I don't think you can. But it's just this ugly still picture that zooms and pans like they did a quick 360 picture. They came in, took about 4 pictures and left. It almost looks like they ripped it off of Google Maps, in fact, although I know that it goes inside the building, so I'm pretty sure that they're not just ripping it off of Google Maps. But this is their amazing video. It doesn't have really any call to actions other than at the end when they tell you go to Yellow Pages, right? There's a couple little information bullet points that pop up at the top, but that's really about it. And this is about as relevant as they know how to be. Part of the issue, again, is they are an old dinosaur, a giant, hulking, lumbering beast that simply can't adapt. It can't be agile. It can't make changes to meet the marketplace where it is. And so it's doing its best to kind of shotgun approach and lumber through and do as much damage as it can while it still is walking about. And that's a real issue. If you're going to be spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a month on marketing, you need to be working with an agile marketing company. You need to be working with a marketing company that is small, that doesn't have thousands and thousands of clients, to which you're just a number to them, right? You need to work with a marketing company that focuses on helping small businesses succeed. And of course, I'm going to recommend you work with us. We are Hundreds of Customers, and if you go to Google and you look up Kansas City SEO agency, we are on the very top of page 1. Sometimes we're up here, sometimes not. These are the maps listing, and they rotate. But we always are right here, spot 1, spot 2, occasionally spot 3. So here we are, Hundreds of Customers. And I show this to you because we can get you on page 1 of Google. And if you're on page 1 of Google, especially if we get you up here in the maps listings, that can be huge, especially if it's a big keyword, right? You may be the number one or the number one company that people visit, right? And I like this term in particular because it's very, very competitive. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it basically is a mixture of art and science. It's part art, it's part science, and it's really hard to do correctly, but it's also very, very competitive because, of course, there are pages and pages of people. Here's people advertising for it. There are pages and pages of people who will make the claim that they know how to do SEO. Kansas City SEO, Kansas City SEO, Kansas City SEO. All these people are trying to show up in Google for that search term, and they're failing. They're on page 4, page 5. There's a joke in the industry, where's the best place to hide the evidence? Page 2 of Google, because nobody ever goes there, and that's true. So you want to be on page 1 of Google, and sites like Yellow Pages and Dex and even Thumbtack and Angie's List, they will tell you that they get you, organic listings. They'll tell you that they're helping you with SEO or something, but they're not. At the end of the day, they're really not. What they're doing is they're helping themselves, and they're helping themselves to your wallet, right? They're getting themselves listed up here, mostly because there's just not a lot of competition. Now, to that end, I want to say this, and if you're a roofer in Kansas City, you definitely need to listen up. But even if you're not, this is the type of area where we could come in pretty easily and get you probably on page 1 within about 3 to 6 months, depending, and without breaking the bank. We're talking maybe $2,500 to $3,500 a month, but that's short term, right? That's not a long-term investment. So with Yellow Pages, you may be spending $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and the moment you stop paying that, assuming you're out of contract, everything just goes away. The calls stop coming in, and you don't appear in the Yellow Pages anymore. And of course, if you're still under contract and you stop paying, then you start getting those notices from Yellow Pages attorneys and collection agencies and everything else. It's a nightmare, right? But if you can get on page 1 of Google, and that's what SEO does, then you own an asset, right? And that asset can generate customers for you essentially on autopilot. Google can tell you how many people are looking up various terms. There are hundreds of people who are looking every single month for a roofer in Kansas City and in the surrounding areas. And so what you want to do is you want to be able to show up where those people are. That's what made the Yellow Pages so important, so revolutionary when they first came out many decades ago, is it was a buyer's book. I need a plumber. I need an electrician. I need a roofer. I need a lawyer. Whatever you happen to need, you could go to this big yellow book, and it was a searchable index of businesses. The problem with Yellow Pages, even back then, is at the end of the day, how do you choose who to call? Who's got the biggest ad, the flashiest ad? Who's got the best, copywriting in their ads, maybe? Who makes the biggest and boldest claims? There's really no way of knowing for certain who is the top dog. But with the modern search engine, we now have things like social proof being built right in. So when you look at this page, you know who's going to get the first call, in my opinion, is Premier Roofing Company right here. They got 48 reviews and a 4.8 star rating, which means lots of people have rated them and lots of people have said they're really good. Why would you call Buck Roofing and Construction or Pyramid Roofing Company when you got these guys right here who've got a glowing 5-star, well, 4.8 star reviews, right? I would definitely trust these guys over either of these, and I'd at least call them first. Maybe they can't take me, and then I'd dig a little further. You can see every single dot here is a roofer in the Kansas City area. All these people are people who probably pay in Yellow Pages or some other company like that for their SEO. So anyway, this has just been a rant against Yellow Pages, but they just drive me nuts because they trap small businesses into these ridiculous contracts with promises of return on investment, and they just don't know what they're doing. And the moment you stop paying them, they either get upset with you because you're still under contract, or they just take everything away and you're out of luck. And here I am back at Yellow Pages really quickly because I wanted to find a quick example of a Yellow Pages website. And actually, here's what I'm finding a lot of right now. I saw some earlier, and I'll pull one up in a minute. But a lot of the times, they're just redirecting you to their own listing page. They don't want to direct you to anybody who is out of their network. And usually this isn't actually your phone number. This is a masking phone number that they use, that they record the calls on and everything else, so that they can prove that they've delivered you a call or two, thereby hoping to justify their cost. So even if you have a website like Arrow Renovation and Construction, who I'm just going to search really quick for, and I'll bet that they have a website. Sure enough, Arrow Renovation of Kansas City. They have an actual website, but Yellow Pages doesn't want to tell you that. They don't want you to go in here and take a look at what looks like a pretty well done website overall. Looks nice, looks sharp, right? They don't want you to see that. They want you to stay on their website as long as possible, because as soon as you leave, they can't control that. They can't get a phone call and say, look, we're doing our job. So again, gosh, they just really annoy the heck out of me. I'm making it my personal vendetta at this point. I'm going to take as many customers from Yellow Pages as possible. If you're ready to leave Yellow Pages and you want to work with a marketing company that knows what they're doing, give me a call. My number is 913-203-4252, but you can just find that on my website, which is, again, hundradsofcustomers.com. And if you can't find that, you can just go to Google and look up Kansas City SEO Agency, and we're always right here at the top of page 1 somewhere. Right there, Hundreds of Customers. And when you go there, you will see our website. And there's our number. We also have some great testimonials. In fact, when you click on that, you're going to be greeted by my smiling face first. I've been featured in all sorts of media. The very top thing I start with are actually competitors of mine who are speaking about me and my company and what we do. It's very, very rarely in business you can get people's competitors to leave reviews for them, but that's exactly what I've got here. And then, of course, we've got some rankings. In fact, at one point, we ranked 3 times on page 1 for Kansas City SEO Agency. Again, a very, very competitive keyword that lots of different people who can do SEO are claiming, or who want to claim they can do SEO are going to go after. And it's, SEO is very cutthroat, right? So you are going to be going after a bunch of people, going against a bunch of people who are trying to get themselves on page 1, but some of them are going to try to attack you and get you off page 1 as well. And they'll do what's called negative SEO, or some sort of an attack that tries to make your website look spammy. And we've been attacked a few times, but we're still here, we're still kicking, and we'll be here for the foreseeable future. And then here's some other rankings and listings that we've got for a number of our clients as well. We also focus on reputation and building 5-star businesses, 5-star reputations, and everything else. So anyway, come visit our website, hundradsofcustomers.com. Click on the discovery form and fill it out, and we'll get back to you within about 24 to 48 business hours. This gives us a really great snapshot of your business and where you are, and we'll let you know what we can do. And in fact, we'll give you a special discount of some kind, or maybe we'll make you a free video, or gussy up your website or something. I don't even know, because again, this is off the cuff. But when you're filling out this form, just mention that you found us because of this video, and you watched the whole thing, which God bless you if you did. And we'll work out something for you as well. So again, my name is Justin West, and this has been a brief tirade against the Yellow Pages.